I never thought I'd be sat here recording this video. West Ham United are champions of Europe. Yes, champions of Europe. I mean, what a topsy-turvy season. Battling relegation throughout the whole season. You almost forgot that we were in a European dream. And then all of a sudden, we just picked up a bit of momentum towards the end of the season. And obviously, we went to Prague and we did the business. We did it. I was thinking about the best time to record this video. And as of recording, it is a Friday, 2 days after it's happened. We've had the celebrations in Prague. We've had the celebrations in Stratford. I feel like now is a good time to sit back and reflect on what a monumental achievement this is for the club. But first, let's get into the game. Pretty poor, I would say, first half from us. We allowed Fiorentina the ball. We kind of knew that would happen. They're a possession-based team. We allowed them the ball. We didn't really create much on the counter, but that's because Fiorentina sat so deep, and we knew they'd do that through Amrabat, who often would drop into the sort of back two, create a back three, push the fullbacks up wide. And obviously the press from Fiorentina was really impressive as well. And just on the crest of half-time, they had a goal ruled out for offside. It was offside, but it was a bit of a wake-up call for us. Very meh first half. But then second half, I think we came out a lot better. We started getting a little bit more of a counter going. We tried to overlap on the wings, tried to overload the wings. And obviously the long throw-in from, to Jarrod Bowen, which eventually led to the penalty now. You might think this is me being a little bit unbiased almost, but I actually don't think it was a penalty necessarily. I think by the letter of the law, it's a penalty. But I think it was quite a harsh call. I think if that was given against West Ham, you'd be pretty vexed about that. Simply just because in the direction he's running, he's got his arm out in front of him. There's not really anywhere for him to put his arm, and it sort of goes onto his arm. But, I can also see that, if he doesn't touch it, Bowen's got the ball and he's pretty much running through. So I can see why it's given a penalty. Said stepped up, slotted it into the sort of top right. Great penalty from him. And then in very West Ham fashion, the lead lasts about 3 or 4 minutes. They go down the other end of the pitch and they score a pretty poor goal. I mean, just a cross ball. Emerson loses out on the header, and it's just a sort of half volley across the box, and it's in it. It just seemed very, very poor from us. My prediction, of course, on the channel was for it to be 1-1 and heading to extra time, and I thought that's where we were headed until, of course, Lucas Paqueta picks up the ball. One of the only times really in the game that Fiorentina's high line was exposed. Jarrod Bowen runs through, name up in the headlights. He bears down on the goalkeeper, slots it past him, and West Ham win their first, well, not their first, sorry, but their first cup in a very, very long time. But it was like 49 years or something ridiculous like that. And we saw the game out in the end. Referee was awful, by the way. Every call he did was pretty much, awful. And obviously I don't condone what happened in the crowd, but that's my take on the game. Man of the match is probably Bowen or Emerson. I thought Emerson was really, really good. Moyes got the call right of dropping him. But, now we turn to the celebrations, and just what a monumental time to be a West Ham fan. Sitting there watching the trophy celebrations, Mark Noble finally lifting a European trophy, or just any trophy really, was beautiful to see. Obviously, you had the Declan Rice, who we'll talk about in another video, captain in West Ham, leading them to European glory, and just trophy in itself, I think, is a great way for him to potentially round off his career as a West Ham player. Jarrod Bowen, Danny Dyer came on to TalkSport and said he was very, very nervous before the game, and he has wrote himself in history, our European top scorer. He's there for a reason. He certainly is on fire, and the rest. And then we turn to the celebrations in Prague, and what, just an amazing fan base. The whole game, I think, to be fair, both sets of fans I think were class during the game. As much as I thought the Fiorentina fans were a little bit, especially the ultras, you have to respect them coming in their numbers as well. But all the West Ham fans out in Prague, we totally took over Prague. The singing, the chanting. I mean, it's everything that football should be about. And you know, the most important thing, obviously, is that we've rattled a load of Spurs fans, which I'm sure we can all take some joy in. I don't really understand the whole, you know, Tim Pot trophy sort of argument. I really don't understand it. The whole point of the trophy is for clubs like, you know, Brighton, Brentford, West Ham, you know, could have been Fulham this season, to get a, you know, to get a chance at just, it's easier for them to qualify for Europe as well. I mean, you look at Roma, the stature of their club. You look at Jose Mourinho and what he's won in his lifetime, how much it meant to them winning it in the previous season, and obviously that got them into Europe, and then they got to the final of Europe this season. I really don't understand the whole tin pot trophy sort of thing. I mean, you know, I've seen teams, you know, win League Cups against lesser oppositions. I've seen teams win FA Cups against lesser oppositions. I mean, a trophy is a trophy at the end of the day, and it's a European trophy. So if you want to come out and, you know, say what you want to say about West Ham and make out that we're basically just sort of, you know, they've made up a trophy so that teams like West Ham, no, that's not what's happened. You know, to finish seventh in the league, in elite league, is an achievement in itself. So difficult to do. To then go out and beat some of Europe's best, and not to mention the fact that, you know, European teams from, you know, the Europa League do drop down into the Conference League as well. You know, it's not been plain sailing. Fiorentina are a good side. They, you know, were in the Coppa Italia. They lost to Inter, I think, in the final 2-1. They probably should have won the game. You know, Inter Milan are in the Champions League final, so it's not as if we're facing opposition that are just completely poor. Fiorentina are a good side. You know, Gent's a decent side. AZ Alkmaar are a decent side as well. And I think we've done it amazingly to win it. And this is just such a catapult for our, you know, obviously the trophy is the most important thing. You know, seeing Declan Rice, David Moyes as well. We've got to give a special shout out to David Moyes. His first trophy in his 25 years of management. Such a beautiful moment where he put his medal round his dad's neck, and, you know, that's such a, you know, for football fan or not, that's a beautiful moment in life, to be able to say, look, you know, that's what I've achieved at the end of his long career. You know, he's a good manager, and at the end of his career, he'll be able to look upon a European trophy. But in terms of the future of West Ham, we've gone from no European football, from a side who finished 14th in the league, to now, you know, Europe next season, 3 years in a row of Europe, and that's going to attract a huge amount of players. And also, it's going to attract maybe a potential decent manager as well. Because, but I do think David Moyes will stay on. But if he doesn't, you know, we're a good project. We're in Europe for another third season in a row, and I think we have a really good shot of it. And obviously, I don't want to talk about too much. It will be another video, but maybe it gives Declan Rice a bit of food for thought. Someone like Jarrod Bowen a bit more food for thought, in case, for some reason, you know, he potentially wants to leave West Ham. I don't think he would. And then obviously, you know, we've gone through all of that. The club foolishly do a bus tour the next day, which I think is very harsh on the players, the staff, and of course the fans. Like, I know people on Twitter saying, well, you know, you've seen them lift the trophy in Prague. You know, why should we be bothered if you can't see it in Stratford? But, you know, give everyone a chance, you know, and school night as well. They could easily have done it on a Saturday or a Friday, but they decided to do it straight away. I don't know whether that's just because it was fresh and the momentum. I don't know if that's like a typical thing for trophy parades. But the sheer numbers that we had on the streets, was astonishing. You know, following that bus from all the way to, and I love the fact that they did it from Upton Park as well to Stratford. I think that was a really nice homage to sort of where we started to where we are now. And the scenes are amazing, you know, and you can't tell me that these players don't look interested and don't love the club. You know, players like Thilo Kehrer have been criticised this season, showing the love for West Ham. Lucas Paqueta's family himself have bought into the club in just one season. Say what you want about Declan Rice, you know, whether he wants to go to Arsenal, whether he wants to go to Bayern Munich or whatever, he doesn't want to leave West Ham. I can tell you that for a certainty. He doesn't want to leave. He doesn't want to go somewhere else. He feels like he has to for the next step in his career. But I can tell you one thing, that man absolutely loves this club and has given everything to this club and has done exactly what he promised, which is deliver us European glory. And I think that was a really nice sort of moment for him during the European tour bus. I think he even said, like, I used to go to these sort of like bus parades when I was younger, and now I'm literally sat on one. And I think it's just a really nice way to end the season. And to be honest, it puts us on a really big high for next season. A season that was just, let's be honest, crap. You know, this season has been crap. We've not played well enough. A lot of players, I think, have realised that they need to up their game. But we end it off with European glory, the first time in 49 years. Obviously, it's great timing for my co-host, who notices is not here today, Mark Carlaw, who just so happened to book a holiday, I think a day after the final, for some reason. I mean, you have to question his morals on that one. I'm not entirely sure whether he just forgot the date was in the diary or whether the missus just decided to book it without his knowledge. But unfortunately, he's not going to be on the channel for a little bit of time to help us celebrate this momentous occasion. But hopefully you will find yourself celebrating it with the new West Ham Way European Champions merch, which will be coming soon. I'm sure you've seen all of X and Dave's videos on Patreon and on Twitter of their celebrations for it. And they're very excited to bring you this new merch, which will be, link will be in the description for that. It should be coming next week pretty soon. And of course, if you're a Patreon member, you'll be getting a cheeky discount on that. But anyway, just to summarise, I guess, European champions, Europa League football for next season. I mean, you know, what a time to be a West Ham fan. I never thought it'd happen in my lifetime. And it has. And who knows, this could be a springboard for